everyone, to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. What's Working is a show focusing on workplace and workforce trends, looking for ideas from our guests that will help us build our own workplace, help us build our own workforce, perhaps teach us some management and leadership insights, and get motivated, let's hope, by the people that we interview. And that is certainly going to be the focus of today. We are in coronavirus lockdown in my household. And my hope is in the background as I try to record this interview here at home, you don't hear the bickering, or perhaps maybe even would be okay to hear the response to the teachers as my children adapt to this online learning environment. It is tense around here, let's say, and I don't know exactly when this show will air, but as of today, it's tense around here with no end in sight. I can't decide whether a video game, the Xbox, is the most brilliant thing in the world or the worst thing in the world right now. It depends on whether they're on it. It's brilliant. When they're not on it, it's the worst thing in the world. So you may hear a little bit of that in the background today. I have given the message out that we need to keep this room quiet, this area of the house quiet, as I conduct this interview. So let's talk about the show. And we would be foolish to not acknowledge the pandemic that's impacting our society right now. Pretend like it's not going on is just like an ostrich sticking your head in the ground. One of the things that the person that we're going to talk to today is Dr. Jeremiah Newell. He's the COO of the Mobile Area Education Foundation and runs ACCEL Day and Evening Academy. We'll get more of his background and his information in a moment. Undoubtedly, their school is one of every other one that I've heard about in our city that is shut down, and perhaps we'll get his information on what he expects as a result of that. But ACCEL is a charter school, and there aren't many of those in this part of the world. For-profit, business-oriented schools. And Dr. Newell is one that, it appears from his bio, has developed this content, or this idea rather, and slowly rolling it out here. There aren't many in the state of Alabama. In fact, if I'm reading this correctly, this might be the only one. And we'll learn a bit about how they work. Now, one of the most popular shows that we did in the past was with the headmaster of St. Paul's School in Mobile, about what they're preparing the St. Paul students for regarding jobs in the future. The headmaster of that school, or the head of school rather, Blair Fisher, had a very clear idea on what type of skills would be needed in the future. And his goal was to prepare those St. Paul students to get prepared for it, to prepare themselves for the job of the future, to be relevant in the market, the workplace of the future. I'm very curious of how Dr. Newell is keeping an eye on the jobs of the future and how he is preparing his students on that. So a big part of the conversation that I can't wait to get into is, what do you predict these jobs of the future to be? And what are the steps that you're taking to prepare these students for that role? Also, a little bit about who's there, who the students are, how charter schools may look different. If I were to walk into a charter school as versus a traditional school, is there anything I see that's literally different? All content we'll get into here. You may get a little bit of hushes from me as I try to keep the kids quiet in the background. And we're going to muscle this thing out, folks. We are in a time of survival and trying to act as normal as possible. And hopefully you're a fan of the show and you know that this show is going to happen, and this helps you with your normalcy. Me recording it and having this conversation is helping me with my normalcy, like I hope it does for you. But the background and the audio and everything else may be a little different due to this new environment. We're going to gut it out. And when I get back from break, you'll hear it from Dr. Jeremiah Newell with ACCEL Day and Evening Academy. If you want to get involved in the show, 251-260-8100. Again, 251-260-8100. It's an unmanned text and voicemail line. Text us there or leave us a message. Or email me directly, Cam, C-A-M, at what'sworkingcam.com. There are no apostrophes there. Cam at what'sworkingcam.com. And you can find us on Instagram, What's Working with Cam Marston, and send us a message there. We'll be right back in a moment with Dr. Newell.
Think about how people really see you. The kid at the drive-thru just sees a coffee drinker.
Please pull forward.
Your local barista sees the person who loves a smiley face in their latte.
See you next time.
It's kind of the same way with insurance. Other insurance companies just see a customer. But a State Farm agent sees more. They see you as a neighbor. Your State Farm agent is here to get to know who you really are so they can help life go right.
Call me, State Farm agent Allison Horner, in Mobile at 666-1616.
Hi, this is Cam Marston. If you're struggling with management, motivation, recruiting, and retention in today's generationally diverse workplace, my half-day workshop called Leading Multi-Generational Teams will be helpful to you. It's a leadership development course that teaches leadership skills and management insights for all levels of workplace leadership. I'll be holding a course open to the public on Wednesday, August 26th at the Mobile Chamber and invite you to attend or come with members of your leadership team. Seating is limited to 30 people, so call the Chamber ASAP to get pricing info and to reserve your seats early. This course is one my clients from all over the country have enjoyed and bring me back to deliver time and time again. It's interactive, very fast-paced, and lots of fun. Again, Wednesday, August 26th at the Mobile Chamber of Commerce, or go to whatsworkingcam.com to learn more.
I'm Matt Armbruster with Ransom Ministries. We help people in our community that most others have given up on. Please donate your unwanted electronics to Ransom Recycling. We teach life skills, job readiness, and job creation through our electronic recycling program. We take anything with a cord. Find us at ransomministries.com, or you can call us at 251-751-0044.
You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston, and on the line is Dr. Jeremiah Newell, the COO of the Mobile Area Education Foundation and the co-founder and superintendent of the Mobile Area Education Foundation Public Charter Schools. Dr. Newell has a lot of things on his resume that I will drop in throughout our interview. Dr. Newell, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to What's Working.
Well, thank you, Cam. Thanks for having me on, and excited about the conversation.
These are strange times that we're in right now, and we'd be foolish to ignore the elephant in the room. Heck, it's the elephant in the world right now of the coronavirus scare, the COVID-19 illness, and you in a position of leadership of a school. Tell me what you guys are going through right now.
Absolutely. These are really unprecedented times for our world and our community. And as an educator, it is just mind-boggling to go from thinking about how we're going to excitedly graduate young people at the end of this school year and help them to matriculate to college, and then suddenly see universities shut their doors, and then public schools and K-12 schools shut their doors without an answer to exactly how long and what do we do in the interim. And so we are literally receiving guidelines and information throughout the day, every day, as the situation is changing so rapidly. So in moments like this, we really have to take some strong pages from crisis management situations. And so what we've done at our school is certainly bring together a leading and guiding team, a leadership team from all different aspects of the organization to tackle discussions on what's the best way to respond given these circumstances. How quickly can we respond? What are the communications platforms that are going to respond to our families well and keep that level of communication going as quickly as possible and as consistently as possible, and then get feedback around those systems. So for us, what that is meant practically is we made the decision, even though the governor gave us instruction to stay open until Thursday. After getting the CDC direction over the weekend, we decided to let Monday be the last day for students on campus. We had our teachers work all day yesterday building our blended learning platforms. And the good news is we utilize blended learning as a school, as a part of our instructional strategies, period. So our students are familiar with those platforms. Yeah. But our teachers needed to scaffold them up in the sense that make it more explicit, because students may not be next to them to get clarification in a synchronous way. So we need to plan for asynchronous instruction. So our teachers worked to build out and refine our instructional platforms yesterday. That was a very productive day, and teachers worked really hard there. And then we issue technology out to our students who don't have access to computers, and supported them to get access to free internet if they don't have it. And right now, just the leadership team is present in the building, continuing to move the school forward. So that's where we are now, and we're basically waiting, expecting that we will get the final decision to move to virtual school here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be, if that's the case, we'll be ready to begin that instruction. So
what's your
that's
gut?
kind of where we are now.
Yeah, what's your gut, Dr. Newell, on what you think's going to happen? What is your best hunch if you were to read the tea leaves? How long out are we looking here from? You said you're getting a lot of good information. How long out are we looking here? I got 4 kids at home right now, and I'm threatening them with their lives to stay quiet on the other side of that door. How long are we looking at this?
Yeah. I would honestly say I think we are the CDC's guidance around 8 weeks is the minimum that we're looking at this point, and so I would expect that through early May, schools would have to be in a virtual format. They might be happening, but they won't be happening in place, and then it's going to depend on the numbers. If we respect the social distancing requests and minimize our contact with one another as Americans, I think that we may be able to reassess and be able to get some last part of school happening, and that has huge implications for like high school seniors, right? I mean, to think that they might never walk across the stage this year. I mean, those are powerful moments, right? So I'm hopeful that we can see a return to on-campus instruction by early to mid-May, and at least get some high school graduations in. But it's going to really depend on us as a citizenry to take care of ourselves. I think if the numbers continue to increase over those next 8 weeks, I think we're looking at closing schools for the rest of the year and trying to get through the summer until the numbers drop, and then returning in August.
Woo! That's going to test a lot of us, isn't it?
It sure is. We have never seen what happens when thousands of young people are released for months and months on end in our community since we created public schools.
No kidding.
So good luck on this one. We are unprecedented times.
I have said the words unprecedented times myself so many times the last couple days, but that's really the only description for it. Well, all your predictions are similar to the ones that I'm hearing. I'm glad to hear yours are not more dire than the ones I'm hearing. So let's hope that these predictions are accurate, but let's get into the content and the reason that you're on the show. You're in and I'm raising my hand right here. I'm not exactly sure what charter schools are, and you're in a position of leadership. And as I read your bio, if I understand it correctly, you had a lot to do with creating the whole concept in the state of Alabama and implementing them. Why don't you give us an overview for the layman like me of what exactly it is, how they're different, what I would see if I step into one, what their purpose are, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great place to start. Charter schools are public schools. And so what that means is that they are open to all students. They have to follow the same laws when it comes to federal civil rights laws and all those kinds of things that are important. They're not you can't select students in that way, in the way that kind of sometimes private schools can. It is a public school and must follow the laws of public education. That's kind of very important first similarity. But there are some differences. The reason they're called a charter school is because the organization that forms the school, that develops it, has to describe in hundreds of pages of detail what it will do that is unique and beneficial to the citizens and the students that it will serve. And it is evaluated by national experts independently to determine whether that idea, that charter, that plan has validity, could be strongly implemented for success of students. And then if approved, it is held on a year-to-year basis to the standards established by that charter to meet its goals. And if it doesn't meet its goals, then it certainly can be closed and are closed. Charters are closed across the country for not being able to deliver those on those goals or unforeseen circumstances, funding, those kinds of things. And so that makes it significantly different than a traditional public school. In most cases, traditional public schools are existing or have existed for many years. And if they aren't meeting academic expectations, they often remain open and while not meeting the needs of the citizens it serves. And so that's a very fundamental difference between the two. So a charter is a design, is a kind of a application to exist that's very detailed, and then its work is to meet the needs of that charter. And if it meets the needs, then it remains open. If it does not, then it certainly can be closed.
So give me the angle of the charter. What is the charter try? It sounds like the word I've not heard you say that I want to say is it sounds like you're trying to fill a niche that you see is either available or, more importantly, needed in the education world. Is that accurate?
Yeah, from a business standpoint, that's exactly how you have to think about it. We look across our community and ask questions around, well, what kinds of schools are already available here? How are students being served? What are their academic achievement? What are the things that are happening in that area? And then what's missing in our community, and how can a charter be designed and developed that can help meet a unique need of the community and produce better results? And as far as we think about it at the Multilayer Education Foundation, not compete against traditional public schools, but serve as an additional part of the ecosystem for public schools. So that's very much what a charter is supposed to do. And charters can vary in great respects based upon the needs of communities. Some charters are focused more on dual language, so students are learning multiple languages at the same time. In some charters, it's much more focused on career technical education. On some charters, it's much more focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. It can vary significantly based upon the needs of the community.
Hold on, Dr. Newell. I need to go to a break, and I want to pick it up right there when we come back. I want to know what the ACCEL Day and Evening Academy's unique charter is. I also have questions about geographic boundaries. Does a charter exist only within zip codes or regions or something like that? This is really very interesting, and it's the first time I've gotten this education. Folks, you're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. We will be right back after this break. Get involved. The phone is 251-260-8100. It's an unmanned line. You can text us, you can voicemail us, and we will respond to your call and perhaps get Dr. Newell back on the phone if the questions warrant it. We'll be right back.
I'm David Nelson, brewmaster and owner of Braided River Brewing. We want beer that goes along no matter where the adventure takes us and that doesn't make us choose between great beer and drinkability. We're drawn to the Delta and united by beer because to us, the best way to celebrate the Delta is to slow down and savor the moments and the beer together. Come visit our tap room in downtown Mobile and ask for us at your favorite bar or restaurant. Visit online at braidedriverbrewing.com.
Investing, connecting, leading, providing. The Community Foundation of South Alabama brings together philanthropic assets to make Southwest Alabama a better place to live, work, and play. We link donors to philanthropy. Working with you, we build communities. Contact us at communityfoundationsa.org.
Human Resource Departments spend countless hours on insurance billing mistakes, Obamacare rules, and compliance. Employee benefits serve the purpose of recruiting, retaining, and rewarding employees. We can handle all of your benefit needs with cost-effective products, employee enrollments, and handle your HR issues. Benefit admin doesn't have to be complicated. My name is Michael Cowart Jr. of the Cowart Group, and we specialize in helping businesses with their employee benefit packages. Visit CowartAssociates.com.
Dr. Jeremiah Newell is the Chief Operating Officer of the Mobile Area Education Foundation. He's running and leading, and I'll get your title in a moment, or your what exactly you're doing for the ACCEL Day and Evening Academy here in Mobile. He has a Harvard degree, a Harvard Fellow at the Rhode Island Department of Education in his background. He's born and raised locally. I want to hear about that as well. Dr. Newell, prior to the break, you were telling us about the unique niche your school is filling in this community. Please pick it up there.
Absolutely. So at ACCEL Day and Evening Academy, we are a collaboration with the Mobile Area Education Foundation, and that organization has been in our community for 30 years, investing $40+ million in our public schools to improve their quality. And when we look at the data in our community, what we recognize is that about 1,300 students every year between Mobile and Baldwin counties are not graduating on time or from public schools. And when you peel back the onion on those who do graduate on time, usually about 50% of them really have the skills to enter the jobs and the universities and the two-year programming and be successful. So we have. So
let me make sure I understood that. I want to step back into that data just a moment. 15% aren't graduating, and of those that do, only half of them have the skills necessary to get a job or to seek further education.
And in those rigorous jobs, right? Not the beginning jobs, but the jobs that Airbus and also are offering, or the post-secondary institution that without having remediation, right? So it's really, truly the definition of ready. When I leave, I can go make this happen at the next level. And that has huge implications for our community, because if our young people aren't ready, then we're looking at economic demands that we can't fill. We're looking at quality of life challenges of folks living in poverty and generational poverty and those things. And we see it when we turn on the news in our community, the challenges that exist there. And so as a organization, the Mobile Area Education Foundation has said, well, we're going to step up and try to do more on behalf of young people who may be falling through the cracks for various reasons. They might be disengaged or bored in their traditional schools. They might be large and kind of they lose interest or are kind of not focused on in the way that they need. There may be young people who have fallen behind already and are losing hope on the potential to have a great life. Some might have even dropped out altogether. And so as an organization, we wrote a charter, right, to support and to design an educational experience that meets the needs of those who may be disengaged or disconnected or bored, and push them to really meet and reach their full potential as young people. And so that's the focus of the charter. And what we've seen is we were in our third year, and every year more than 600 students apply to our school. We're a school of 300 students. We operate with flexibility, which we believe is really important to meet the needs of young people. So we're open from 8 a.m. in the morning to 8:30 at night, meeting the diverse needs of young people. We have our instructional approach really focuses on figuring out what young people need to master and what they need help with, and then reaching them and working with them one-on-one or in small group, and using time differently to make sure that they really can get those skills. And if they're really strong academically, then we're here to push them further. We offer advanced placement courses or dual enrollment courses in partnership with universities and colleges to push them even further than what they're doing now. But it's in a smaller environment, a smaller classroom, smaller counseling ratios, so that they don't fall through the cracks. And that really makes a big difference. And I think the third thing that really is unique about our school is that we really emphasize mental health with our young people.
I was going to ask that. I suspected that there's a component of that. All right, keep going. You emphasize mental health.
Absolutely, because we know that young people are never going to learn if they're socially and emotionally not taken care of, right? Yeah. And so as a school, we have in-health mental health counselors, a great partnership with Alta Point that helps us provide therapists in the building to support young people. We've rethought the role of the counselor, the traditional guidance counselor, and we have this role called an advocate counselor. And their jobs are to do whatever it takes to keep students motivated and meet their needs. If that means home visits, if that means supporting parents with finding jobs, if that means helping students get access to jobs themselves or to additional counseling or therapy that helps move them along, then that's very much a focus. And you will see that in every classroom and in every morning, all adults are focused on greeting kids, checking in with them throughout the day, building relationships with them. And when issues arise, we come together as a family to support the needs of young people. And that really makes a big difference when it comes to supporting young people.
Yeah, let me ask you a couple of questions that are just exploding in my head right now. First, is it K through 12 or is it 10 through 12? Tell me what the grades are.
So our original charter are for grades 9 through 12.
9 through 12.
But we have been approved now. We're excited to announce that in August of 2021, we will be opening grades 6 through 12.
There you go.
So I'll include a middle school. We're going to go back younger because we're finding that if we can intervene early with young people, we can get them further. So we're here to support younger grades. So we'll be growing, building a new building, and supporting a new location to meet the needs of our young people.
Class sizes. That's always a question that a parent wants to know, whether it be post-secondary education or their high school. What is the class size?
Absolutely. So class sizes range, and they could be as small as 8 to 10 for certain subjects, particularly when we get to math, or those who need extra support in literacy, English classes that really are rigorous. But on average, our class sizes are around 20 students. And that's about 8 to 10 students smaller than a traditional public school in the area.
And you have 600 apply and 300 get in every year, and that's obviously going to change as you open it up to sixth grade and upward. What are the criteria? Is it an interview process, or do you just look at an application? How do you select the students that make it?
That's a great question. So as a charter, remember, one of the things that's fundamental is that we are a public school. So for those who apply, if there is a spot available, and they apply, we take them first. So the process looks like during the springtime, there's an open enrollment period where students submit applications, and then we run a lottery. If there are more applications than there are seats, then it's random, literally computer-generated lottery, and that's how seats are filled. Then after that, if there are additional seats, then we focus on a first-come, first-served basis. So as applications come in, we meet students and families and talk about the school and make sure they know what we do here, and that we're supporting one another. And if all thumbs up, everybody's ready to jump in and reach their goals and potentials, then they're enrolled and we get ready for the next school year. So it's open enrollment and then first-come, first-served.
There's no hardship component necessary in this.
It isn't. It's only in the sense that that we make sure that we're clear about what we do. And so what we find is that the young people who come to us are those who are disengaged or who want to be pushed or who need that smaller class size because of things like ADD or social bullying or things like that. So they're coming to us because, frankly, there's no one else in the broad scheme of things that are doing it quite like we're doing it. And so we find that from a business standpoint, the customer really is connected to what the students' unmet needs are, and looking for that better fit to meet their needs.
Is there any data available that suggests that spending $1 on a student today saves the community $20 down the road, or yields $20 in new taxes through a gainfully employed individual down the road? Is there anything like that to support this? I suspect you're too new in our community to have that data locally, but is there any hypothesis for anything out there?
There certainly are data. As we built our school, one of the fundamental pieces of data that we utilize is for the 1,300 students or so every year that fall behind and don't graduate on time, don't graduate ready. The economic studies coming out of the Alliance for Excellent Education suggest that that's about $4.5 billion in cost to the community.
Yowza.
But for every dollar we spend to support young people to graduate ready and are able to launch into their dreams, it's about $1.30 in return.
Yeah.
So we're seeing, so we're definitely seeing, that's conservative. That's based upon cost of systems and anticipated wages and that sort of thing. And so definitely there, whether it's a moral imperative or an economic development imperative, it is an imperative to build and work and have these kinds of options in our community to support our young people and their families.
Tell me about the teachers. Teaching is already a calling, but now I think you're asking for, or you're finding teachers with even a deeper calling for a different, quote unquote, customer base. Who are your teachers?
It is so true that the life of any school is really what happens in the classroom. It's what matters most. And we have a great team of teachers and administrators who support our school. We're really blessed in that way. They do. They have to be called to do this work. They have to have a great level of compassion and empathy for young people, for their needs, for their stories, for their challenges, because we have to lead with relationships and care before we can get any instruction done. But then once those relationships are built, then we have to be ready to meet students' needs, and those needs are going to vary. So our educators have a strong ability to be able to teach across the spectrum. So for those who are really good in math, then our math instruction looks a little bit different. For those who have more challenges in math, then our math instruction looks different for them. And so being able to what we call in education differentiate between the various needs of students is a really important skill. And so to ensure that our teachers are up on the needs and the challenges of our students, we meet weekly. In fact, we let students out on Fridays during a half day so that our staff stay and get the professional development and look at data and plan so that we're ready to respond to the needs of students. Because if we don't make time for this very important piece, then it can't happen, right? Teachers can't do the impossible. We have to be creative about the use of time so that our young people really are able to be successful.
I want to talk to you about the attitude of the students when we come back from break, whether they see this opportunity with you. If I do a lot of seminars, and there's two types of seminar attendees. One is a prisoner and the other is a volunteer. The volunteers come ready to learn. The prisoners are being forced to come by their boss or something. I'm curious if you can see a similarity in the attitude of your students. Let's pick that up when we get back from break. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. On the line with me is Dr. Jeremiah Newell with the ACCEL Day and Evening Academy. We'll be back.
The Community Foundation of South Alabama links donors to philanthropy, builds networks across 8 counties, and builds dreams for those in need. Through our donors' gifts, we make investments that enhance our community via initiatives with broad impact. Working with you, we build communities. Contact us at communityfoundationsa.org.
Life insurance is one of those subjects that make people want to change the subject rather than admit they probably don't have enough. I'm State Farm agent Allison Horner, and that's why I focus on how the benefits of life insurance actually live on by asking people to think in terms of life without having to sell the house insurance, or life without having to give up college insurance. Find out how the benefits of life insurance can live on for your family. Call me, State Farm agent Allison Horner, and get to a better state with State Farm.
First Protective is a multidimensional financial firm specializing in risk management. We blend all dimensions of financial services, offering our producers diverse products to create multiple revenue streams. If you're a life insurance producer or in the traditional investment business looking to grow your business, we can help. Call me, Jay Stubbs, at 251-604-7024 or find me online at www.firstprotective.com.
ACCEL Day and Evening Academy is located here in Mobile. It's the only, I think, charter school in the area. It's run by Dr. Jeremiah Newell, who's the COO of the Mobile Area Education Foundation. Dr. Newell, prior to the break, I was asking about the attitude of the students. Do they view this opportunity? It's a selective place. Do they view this opportunity to attend your school as just that, an opportunity, a gift? Or are there those that are forced to come and have what I'll say is the attitude of students about school that's been in place for generations? What's those students' attitudes?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And the answer to that is it really does vary. It varies on where the student really is emotionally in their lives. And so most of our students come to our school recognizing that they need something different, that what's happening wherever they might be is not working for them, and they want to have the opportunity for a better place and a better fit for them. But then there's that time period where you have to figure out, well, what does work then for you? And so, and then once you're in that space, are you ready to work hard to really grow your academic skills and be ready to move forward? And so, I would say that while there is there's a spectrum of student some who come really ready, some who come slowly to the table because they've lost trust. Oftentimes is what's happened. They've been in one school after the other, or been in schools where they haven't had good experiences. So when they come here and they think, okay, people are saying it's going to be different, but is it really different? Are they really going to be there for me? Those relationships are the only way to really move students forward in that moment. And we work really hard to do that, to move students. And then after that, it's the day after day. It's doing what we say we're going to do on behalf of young people. And what we find is that by approaching it that way, the vast majority of young people really do see what a great gift this is and how successful they've been by the end of, say, a school year. And then those groups of students help to enculturate the new groups of students who come year after year. It's always a process.
Do you look for, and I know this is a silly question, I can't frame it correctly, do you look for investors in this opportunity? I know it's a public school. It's funded by the county, I suspect, and part by the state. Are you looking, is there any out-of-pocket expenses required of these students or these parents that is atypical of a public school? Are you looking for partnerships with corporations to help you with any of this? Anything like that?
Absolutely, we do. One of the challenges of charter schools is that they do not receive the same amount of local tax dollars that traditional public schools receive. So that works out to be about $1,500 per student less than a traditional public school. And so in order to meet the needs of our young people, we've built a very lean model. We don't have the large football fields and all the buses that are necessary in a large traditional school, and that helps us save some money, but there's still a difference. And we've been really blessed to have investors like J.L. Bedsole and Heron Chandler and foundations such as that who've come to the table and support us to open our school. But we're always looking for those who would be willing to help us make the difference between the local funds that we would normally get. And then there's also a unique needs that kids have. But we have students who have housing crises, and there's certain funds that we really just have to raise to make that happen. We have students who can't afford to pay their graduation fees, and we need help with that. Sponsoring graduation, which hopefully will happen. We'll see what happens with COVID-19, but these are things that we certainly have costs, and we are always looking for business partners. We have a robust internship program where 50 students every year are going off into paid internships in our companies, and we're looking for folks who are looking to train the next generation of young people. We prepare them with initial job training. We pay them, but we need businesses who are willing to say, okay, we want to take some young people and expose them to a possibility for themselves.
Yeah,
that's really what changed my life, and so that's how we look for. We're looking for donors. We're looking for partners who can really help to make this dream happen on behalf of young people.
Let's talk about you. You mentioned it changed your life. You've got a heck of an education in your background, some time at Harvard as well. Then again, it seems like everybody these days has some time at Harvard. I'm kidding. You're still a very an elite group of people. But What made you want to get involved in this? Is there something that touched you as a child or as a student or an opportunity you saw? Was this all a logical stream of thought that you said, I can employ myself and feed my family perhaps if I go down this road, or is there something more?
Yeah, I can't begin to describe the steps and to say that I directed them would be beyond the truth. But I would say, so I started, my interest in education really came in elementary school. My mom worked multiple jobs to make ends meet. She was a single parent, and one of the jobs she worked is as a custodian at one of our local private schools. And I would go there in the evenings. I was blessed to be in a magnet school here in Mobile, so I was getting great education, great teachers, great school. But I got the chance to be exposed to private school experiences here in Mobile, and it just blew my mind about just depending on what a family can afford and their circumstances, quality of education was different. And so in high school, I got engaged in issues of equity and was a part of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council for Mobile County Public Schools, and that connected me to the Mobile Area Education Foundation, where the founding CEO, Carolyn Akers, saw something really special. She saw in me and my passion for education, and I decided to stay in Mobile to help work and support my mom at the same time. And so I went to University of South Alabama for undergrad. I thought I was going to be an engineer, and once I got exposed to this world of schools and the school design and school improvement, I saw engineering principles, but to the benefit of young people and adults and people, right? And so I became an educator, and that took me off to a journey of launching schools and working within our school district here locally. And that work ultimately gave me an opportunity to go to Harvard and receive my doctorate in education there at Harvard, and a combined government Harvard Kennedy School, Ed School, and Business School doctoral program for free. And then the question is, once those gifts are bestowed, what do you do with them? And for me, it was to come back home and to contribute to whatever way I can to help support my home. And so that's what has brought me back to Mobile, and I'm excited to be able to be an educational and social entrepreneur through charter schools here in Mobile.
Did you have other school systems, employers begging your attention and wanting you elsewhere than Mobile?
Well, sure. Definitely. There were a number of school districts and also state departments of education and foundations, coming out of a doctoral program at Harvard. And I would argue the best place for doctoral programs in education. There were lots of folks, but that didn't matter to me. It wasn't about that.
Never a question that you were coming home.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was really about, being able to do the work in a place where the fire in the belly really existed. And this is where it is for me. And I hope to be here as long as I can, to do the work. And it, it'll be charter schools, but it's other things. It's not, I'm not just a charter school person, but it's a tool that we really need to employ to help support our young people.
Do you feel that ACCEL Day and Evening Academy has made it? Do you have a beachhead yet? Or are you still on the bubble based on funding issues and lack of awareness? And I raise my hand here, lack of awareness by the community. What is the position of the school right now?
We're very much in our emergent phases. When you think about the phases of an organization, we're very young. We're nascent. We're getting organized. We're testing processes. We're piloting ideas, and we're learning quickly and rapidly. And that's where we are. We have a long way to go as an organization. We have a long way to grow as a school. But we are making those strategic decisions. We're doing it purposefully, and we're seeing young people benefit. Last year, 89 young people graduated. 92 students graduated last year. We doubled the number from the first year. 89% of them were accepted to 2 or 4 year college. That's the beginning steps. That's the beginning results we want to see, and we're just excited to take it to the next level. But it really does need support. We need help getting the word out because we don't have a lot of budget for marketing. We need help getting the word out for partners because our students need to be exposed to careers in technology and healthcare and so many places, and we don't have the partnerships yet. So we really ask if our local community can really embrace us as a strategy to support our overall economic development in our education society and sector, I think that's going to make a big difference for our city.
So your move to 6 through 12 education, which I think you said is coming in, what is that, September 2021? September 2021?
August of 2021. That's right. Not this school year, but the next school year.
Was that done out of necessity? You need more cash flow, or is it done out of opportunity? We've done well. The school system or the powers that be are allowing us to expand.
Yeah, it was definitely done out of opportunity. In fact, the way public schools are funded, middle schools receive less funding overall. Mm-hmm. So that choice is actually going to increase our exposure to a certain extent. But it's done out of opportunity because as we saw the young people we've in the success stories just already in these first 2.5 years, we recognize that if we had met young people much younger, we can get them further because young people demonstrate being disconnected in a classroom way before they get to high school. Yeah. They're sure, the traditional system is not working for them a long time before high school. And what we want to be able to do is to try to be there as soon as reasonably possible so that we can support their success earlier, which means they're ultimately going to get further, right? Our vision is that young people are going to be able to finish post-secondary training experiences before they even graduate from high school, so that they have a true path to economic success after they graduate. And so that means intervening early. So the State Department of Education, and given our initial success, sees the value of that. The Charter School Commission sees the value of that. Our local board, school board, and board of the Education Foundation sees that value. So we're putting together a plan to grow and to expand so that we can better serve our community.
Well, what does the success look like for you? Not for the students. You've been very clear about what you want to see from them, but from you, from your personal point of view, from this adventure you've taken as you've returned back home to help your community. What does success look like for you?
What I'd like to see a couple of things. First is that we continue as educators, which I think is one of the most trusted and noble professions of our society, to push the envelope around what is possible for kids and for schools. We cannot be complacent or we will be disrupted, right? And that process is happening globally in education. And so what I want to see is that as a group of educators in our community, that we are truly thinking of ourselves as innovators and taking innovation playbooks from the broader sector, the business community, and applying them to schools. So I'm trying to lead the way on how to do that as best as I can and apply these HBS principles and business principles to education. So that's one level of success, is to have those perspectives and approaches shared and garnered across our broader community. The second is that we really take a step back around how educators are trained and really push our perspectives and approaches and strategies locally to make sure that our educators are really set up to do the work successfully. And that means we can't continue to do what we've always done. So we're really trying to lead the way. I'd love to see where our practices on educator development and practice and support can be employed and applied to other schools, both public and private. So that would look like success for me.
Dr. Newell, you got one more. How about 30 seconds?
Sounds good. And I think that last piece really just comes to us being able to, as a community, to redefine what education looks like for us and break down barriers so that we're not worried whether a school is a charter school, a traditional public school, or a private school, but we have just a real ecosystem where children can find their place based upon their needs.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from a citizen of this community, for the work that you're doing. Thank you for coming back home. You remind me of so many of the other guests we've had on the show, remarkable talents, people that could have planted their flag in many other places across this country. Instead, they've come home, they've come to Mobile, and they're giving back to this community through their professional work. Thank you, Dr. Newell.
Well, thank you again. It's been an honor to be on the show, and thank you for what you do to lift up the stories of our community.
You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. We'll be back after this break with final comments.
you sometimes wonder about different money topics, but struggle to find the answers? The Every Dollar Counts podcast with Gulf Coast experts Josh Nowell and Jay Stubbs is made for those folks serious about their financial plan and looking for answers. Josh and Jay dedicate their time to explaining the various services and products available, as well as discussing lifestyle and money interests of the modern-day family. Tune in to Every Dollar Counts on Apple Podcasts and everywhere else you get your favorite podcasts.
Investing, connecting, leading, providing. The Community Foundation of South Alabama brings together philanthropic assets to make Southwest Alabama a better place to live, work, and play. We link donors to philanthropy. Working with you, we build communities. Contact us at communityfoundationsa.org.
What's Working with Cam Marston is brought to you by Stella Artois Beer. Stella Artois is a perfect beer for celebration. Nothing caps off a big sale, hitting your incentive goals, or a profitable quarter like a round of Stellas. Brewed first in 1708 as a special Christmas brew, today Stella is a gift for everyone to enjoy year-round. Stella Artois. Find it wherever fine beer is sold.
Yet another story of a remarkable individual who perhaps could have gotten a toehold anywhere in this nation, doing as well as not better than he is now financially, I guess. I'm making a hypothesis here, I guess. But has chosen to return to his home. We spoke with David Morris a couple weeks ago. Another guy similar, could have done this anywhere, has chosen to return to home and make his business here in Mobile. And there's so many of those, and we are fortunate. Our city of endless and limitless potential is beginning to move into its potential, and it's very, very exciting. We should be, and I think we all are, grateful for the Dr. Newells of the world who have chosen to return home and make this their community and shape the community in a way that's benefiting all of us. I thank Dr. Newell. He wanted me to mention, by the way, the website, and I neglected to ask him that on the air. ACCEL Academy Mobile, and that is spelled ACCEL Academy Mobile. Again, ACCELAcademyMobile.com, ACCELAcademyMobile.com. He also wanted me to let you know that they are accepting applications for fall of 2020 right now. If you heard this show and you feel your child would be a good target for this, or you know someone whose child would be a good target for this, they are accepting those applications. And as Dr. Newell said, they want them. They want your application. So please gather them, get them to them. And if you think you have a way of helping them out, again, this show isn't an advertisement. I've said that before. But if there's a way to help them out, we've heard the motives. Try to find a way to do so. Let's all do that. I've been invited to come visit the campus, meet the students, visit the staff, and just see how special it is. I'm going to take them up on it and see what I can't do in my small way to help them out. Folks, as this COVID thing is dominating our lives right now, we in this radio show's position have a great opportunity to build inventory. What does that mean? There are a lot of people that we've been trying to organize conversations with that are now sitting at home looking for something to do. So this is we're making lemons, or taking lemons and turning it into lemonade. We're turning that frown upside down. We're finding ways to build inventory for the show. And those people that we've been trying to get in touch with are looking for something to do. So our calendar is filling up with these telephone interviews. If you know somebody that should be on the show, if you've got a story that we need to hear, someone local in a business format, reach out to me, please. 251-260-8100. That's our phone/text line. Leave us a voicemail, send us a text, give us a lead that we need to hear. You can email me directly, cam@whatsworkingcam.com. That's cam@whatsworkingcam.com. And find us on Instagram, where you can send us a message as well. What's Working with Cam Marston. You'll also enter What's Working with Cam Marston into Facebook, and you'll find that page. Finally, if you want to hear the show again, if you want to go to the website, whatever, go to www.cammarston.com, and you'll find links to our podcasts there. All right, folks. Got to go. Running over on time. John Thompson produces the show. Kristen Ogden manages all these interviews. We'll have another show next week. Do your best, my friends, to have a good week.